take a few minutes to learn. So in-gather ourselves, take one or two breaths in peace and relaxation to be fully present with an aspiration to be able to understand and follow what we resonate with, what is right. So invoking divine presence into our life. Just trying to see where we left last time. I know we were doing the right spirit, and I think it's my understanding that we had to start with seeking to know, because I think we had read about the right attitude fully. So yes, so that's what I remember. So we'll start with seeking to know, and if anybody is willing and ready, they can read the first para of this for us, and we'll take it from there.
Taruna, sorry, I think we read this because that pulp word seems to be familiar. I don't know, Jagan, are you, do you
Yeah,
think that we read,
pulp is
I think,
familiar,
I
yes.
think we did. Yes.
Yeah. But I think we did not fully discuss it. We touched upon it. So we can take an
sure.
overlap and see, maybe we did, but you're absolutely right. The pulp is familiar. Yeah, the pulp, like, yes.
Vasuji, you want to read? I think I've interrupted you.
Oh, no. I was actually I just saw the word pulp. So I was like, I
Okay.
think we've read this.
Okay. Sure. Seeking to know. You must have a great deal of sincerity, a little courage, and perseverance, and then a sort of mental curiosity. You understand? Curious, seeking to know, interested, wanting to learn. To love to learn. That one must have in one's nature, not to be able to bear standing before something grey, all hazy, in which nothing is seen clearly, and which gives you quite an unpleasant feeling, for you do not know where you begin and where you end, what is yours and what is not yours, and what is settled and what is not settled, which is what is this pulp like thing you call yourself in, what is this pulp like thing you call yourself in, which things get intermingled. I'll just read that one more time. What is this pulp like thing you call yourself in which things get intermingled and act upon one another without even being aware of it? You ask yourself, But why have I done this? You know nothing about it. And why have I felt that? You don't know that either. And then you are thrown into a world outside that is only fog, and you are thrown into a world inside that is also for you another kind of fog, still more impenetrable, in which you live like a cork thrown upon the waters, and the waves carry it away or cast it into the air, and it drops and rolls on. That is quite an unpleasant state. I do not know, but to me it appears unpleasant.
I think just going through it because we didn't meet last time, some things that stand out to love to learn that one must have in one's nature. I mean, there are a lot of times, this gray aspect also, I feel that a lot of times when, especially if I'm stuck on something or in a certain situation, I feel some haze. I feel as if I'm trying to think, there's a dark cloud coming over and, a veil that it stops me from seeing things. But again, one has to persevere and keep digging. So, not to be able to bear standing before something gray, all hazy, in which nothing is seen clearly, and which gives you quite an unpleasant feeling, for you do not know where you begin and where you end, what is yours and what is not yours, what is settled and what is not settled, what is this pulp like thing. There's no distinctions, definitions, shape. One time you say this, then in somebody you might be criticizing thing, but you're doing it yourself in different forms. So you call yourself, in which things get intermingled and act upon one another without even your being aware of it. You ask yourselves, but why have I done this? You know nothing about it. And why have I felt that? You don't know that either. And then you are thrown into a world outside that is only fog. And you're thrown into a world inside that is also for you another kind of fog, still more impenetrable, in which you live like a cork thrown upon the water. Now, I was reflecting now, I remember on the word cork, like why was the word cork used here? And I think cork, there's this property of a cork which it's impenetrable. Like it doesn't take in water. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know how, I mean, there must be a reason why, although it's in water and it's being thrown here and there, it drops, it rolls, it says. And it's light. I think it doesn't sink. Maybe that is why also cork is used. Cork is used. Yeah, and this is quite an unpleasant state. I do not know, but to me it appears unpleasant. So this is what we are talking about. So this is when the seeking begins, when you realize you're not really understanding, you don't really know, you call out yourself this body, I call myself this body, I cannot control so many things, I can't even control my mind. What we were reading in the heroic heart session, I think all of us were there. So we started with, how one needs to master one's mind. And yet, so far we are, and yet that is, it said, is the first step. And a lot of what we are aspiring to do, the small, small practices, they should ideally take us. I mean, if we are sincere and if we are doing it. towards more mastery over oneself. Baby steps, but yes. Yeah. So anything on the first para that we have just taken as an overlap? We'll move on to the next para now. We can take, yeah, let's just take the small one first and then we'll take the third last one. So if anybody can read, they can go ahead. Otherwise, I'll read.
Yeah, I'll read. To see clearly, to see one's way, where one is going, why one is going there, how one is to go there, and what one is going to do, and what is the kind of relation with others. But that is a problem so wonderfully interesting. It is interesting, and you can always discover things every minute. You can never have finished your work. There is a time, there is a certain state of consciousness when you have the feeling that you are in that condition with all the weight of the world lying heavy upon you, and besides you are going in blinkers and do not know where you are going. But there is something which is pushing you, and that is truly a very unpleasant condition. And there is another moment when one draws oneself up and is able to see what is there above, and one becomes it. Then one looks at the world as though from the top of a very, very high mountain, and one sees all that is happening below. Then one can choose one's way and follow it. That is a more pleasant condition. This then is truly the truth. You are upon earth for that, surely. All individual beings and all the little concentration consciousness were created to do work. It is the very reason, for instance, to be able to become fully conscious of a certain sum of vibrations representing an individual being and put order their way and follow the way.
Thank you. In the first para, it had said, how we are thrown here and there. We don't know the outside, we don't know the inside, and how it's quite an unpleasant state. And then it says to see clearly, to see one's way, where one is going, why one is going there, how one is to go there, and what one is going to do, and what is the kind of relation with others. But that is a problem so wonderfully interesting. It is interesting, and you can always discover things every minute. You can never have finished your work. You know how we have often spoken about, and Ritu's favorite thing, that an aimless life is a miserable life. So I think if we see what we are doing and if it's in alignment with our aim, I mean, if I've chosen an aim for myself, what am I doing during the day that is taking me towards that aim? I think that's very important to see clearly, to see one's way. Where is one going? Why one is going there? How one is to go there? And what one is going to do? And what is the kind of relation with others? between these things, between me and others. But that is a problem so wonderfully interesting. But again, I don't know in which session we were discussing that we keep all our focus, all our time is spent in, the everyday small things that one doesn't usually have time to do this. It's one of my favorite things to say, but there's this quote that says, I don't know by whom, that one spends more time planning a vacation than one does planning their lives. It's at the first time I heard it, it was very shocking for me. And I saw there was so much truth in it. A lot of times, that's true for a lot of us. So Mother says this is a problem so wonderfully interesting, but because I have other problems, and because this problem again takes a lot of sincerity, honesty, mindfulness, which also is simple, but because I'm so used to the other problems that everybody is fighting, is trying to solve, it just seems a easier thing to involve myself in. There's a quote in Gita, I forget the exact thing I'm paraphrasing. It's quite nice. It says that it's just because we have smaller goals and we keep getting successes or failures in the smaller things, that is the reason why we are not able to go for the bigger things, because there are so many smaller things that occupy us. I'll try to find it and share it if I can remember, but I found it to be quite true. Yeah, anything on this? Anyone with this? So taking this further, there is a time, there is a certain state of consciousness when you have the feeling that you are in that condition with all the weight of the world lying heavy upon you. And besides, you are going in blinkers and do not know where you are going. But there's something which is pushing you. And that is truly a very unpleasant condition. I don't think there would be anybody who would not have experienced this, that we have felt the weight of the world lying heavy upon you. And you don't know why you are doing. There's just some, I don't know, some flow that you are following and you're just doing one thing. I remember a long time back, Ritu, once you were in a very difficult situation, some big decisions in your life, and you had shared with me that, I sit and I'm thinking and I get so boggled up and so, I don't know, sucked into it all that I forget what I'm thinking. Like, doesn't know where to start, where to end, what to think, what to weigh, what to keep down.
Yeah, it's strange that sometimes we have so much of load on our head, and like here it's mentioned that if we see it from above, then the view is different. So, but then when you are in the middle of everything, at that time seeing it from above doesn't come. It takes a lot of practice to actually, while you're in that situation, to just distance yourself and then see it.
Yeah. So I think again, here this thing comes that what am I practicing on a daily basis, right? If on a daily basis I am practicing seeing things in a little step back position, if I'm able to step back from the daily regular, ups and downs, a little step back, a little centered, the The joys don't make me go like crazy. The falls don't make me go crazy and happy. So it's very much easier for me to then step back when things are much bigger. But if I don't do it in my everyday, when things hit hard, then it would not be possible for me to do it at all. You know that again, Kabir ji's doha that we refer to often, that दुख में सुमिरन सब करें सुख में करे ना कोई, जो सुख में सुमिरन करे तो दुख काहे को होए. So if everything is well and I'm practicing this stepping back, this big picture, seeing in my everyday what is important, where is this taking me, I'll be able to do that much more easily. So just reading this, and there is another moment when one draws oneself up and is able to see what is there above, and one becomes it. Then one looks at the world as though from the top of a very, very high mountain, and one sees all that is happening below. Then one can choose one's way and follow it. Now we can see others' problems really easily, right? Like if somebody is sharing anything with us, if we are watching a movie, a serial, if we are hearing a story, we can so easily form conclusions, give opinions, say this is right, this is wrong. Why can't they just simply let go of that and everything will be easy? And one of the most important reasons, I want to say only, but I shouldn't say that, is because we are too close to ourselves. So if we are inculcating this habit of stepping back from my own self, it gives us a greater vision. And I think this is why the practice of what else is mindfulness, what else is awareness, right? That things are, what is entering you, what is leaving you, what thoughts you are entertaining, how much weight you're giving to a thought. Yeah. So that is a more pleasant condition when you are able to see the bigger picture from above. This then is truly the truth. You are upon earth for that surely. This also reminds me that, they say a lot of places it's mentioned that when you leave your body, how you have, the whole recap of your life, the important things, you see those things. But like, you see things from a 360-degree view. Like right now, if I recall things, if I have memories of things, I would always look at it from my side, right? It happened to me. This is what I reacted. The person said this. This is what I felt. But when that recap is happening, it's a very big picture. You see how what you did, what did it result in for those 4 people that you were connected with, and next, and next, and next. So, and they say that for you to understand the whole situation, that big picture is very important. That's when you conclude, that's when you realize that, oh, this is this is what it was, this was happening, and this is how I was taking it. Suddenly you are able to let go, you're able to, open your hand and maybe understand things, know things for what they are and not what you think them to be. Just finishing this up, and I hope there are some more sharing. So this then is truly the truth. You are upon earth for that surely. all individual beings and all the little concentrations of consciousness were created to do this work. It is the very reason, I am hoping this is reason, but maybe it means something else, so I don't know. Reason for existence, to be able to become fully conscious of a certain sum of vibrations representing an individual being and put order therein and find one's way and follow the way. So what I understand is that, how the topic is seeking to know. And here it is being said that this awareness, this be able to step up, to see a greater view, from the unpleasant, one has the chance, one has this potential to go in the pleasant condition, that I know why things are happening. I know where this is taking me. I know where I would like this to take me. And I'm not just living in the haze. I'm not just living in a collective conditioning. So this is what Mother is saying is truly the truth that you are upon earth for that surely. Somebody was reflecting on this 2, 3 days back only, that why are we here? This doesn't really totally answers, but this too is another answer to explore, to see your true potential, to become your true potential, that yes, you're capable, you can choose. So you are upon earth for that surely. All individual beings and all the little concentrations of consciousness were created to do this work. Like my concentrations of consciousness, they are so scattered. So they are not there sitting, trying to analyze, trying to step off, trying to let go. Because they are so busy doing things, gossiping or thinking random things or worrying about things that don't really matter. But this, Mother says, is surely one of the things to understand oneself, to see the bigger picture, is something that one was probably born to do. It could be the very reason for existence, to be able to become fully conscious of a certain sum of vibrations representing an individual being. Become fully conscious of certain sum of vibrations representing an individual being and put order therein and find one's way and follow the way. So this individual here, what I see is me, right? To become conscious of myself and put order. Right now, before what it was said, that everything is just happening haywire. But now when you know, when you can see, you can connect dots, you can see what is going where, find one's way and follow the way. Yes, Swati.
So you just mentioned, a couple of days back, someone talked about this, and that's exactly actually what I was interpreting this paragraph also, is that what are we here on earth for? So what's our purpose? And if, like they mentioned about having that vision, like when you are perched up there and then you're looking down and everything is very crystal clear, you can see the clearly defined path. So for me, that's like when you have that introspection and that self-awareness and the discipline then to follow on that path. And I think that is pretty much your calling or your purpose. Like, what are you here on earth for? And this was something that actually I'd been reflecting on after a personal situation that I went through, which is like, what am I here on earth for? And I asked one of my friends, and they said that, and I was reading the Gita also, and they said that I think it's good if each one of us reflects what's our purpose in life. And I don't know whether I found it, but I just feel that I think it's just I just feel good that I'm able to do that. Is to what is my purpose? What am I here for? So that it just gives a sense of direction and not go on autopilot.
Yes, absolutely. And it's actually funny that we need to hear a Gita tell us, right? That kindly reflect why you are here. How far we have come, it amazes me. Like story of everybody's life. I'm not saying you need Gita to tell you that. We all need those proofs to say कि अरे कुछ तो सोच लो कि कुछ तो purpose होगा. It can't be, just this, just this. I find that pretty amusing. And I don't know. Yeah, let's go with the music. Mm. Yeah, anything, anybody else on this paragraph? Kind of start with a lot of, where we struggle, where is the confusion, the fog that we have around us, and yet it's saying that the way we can see is if we step back, if we see a bigger picture. And I think it also very strongly goes with the topic for the harmony circle. Like how we get so boggled down with the smallness, with the petty, उसने बोला, ये बोला, क्यों बोला, मुझे बोला, that we always miss our lessons. We always miss what बोला क्या सच भी है, should I look at it? And then again, I don't do anything about it because all my energy is spent in क्यों बोला, मुझे क्यों बोला, मुझे ही हमेशा सब कोई क्यों बोलते हैं. And next time I end up doing the same thing, and again somebody else says the same thing, and I again cry out that the world is after me. So it's very interesting how we take the small very seriously, and the things that, like Vasu was sharing, where I need to spend some time, I don't have time for that.
Ma'am, can I read this particular paragraph where you highlighted a few lines? Can I read that one more time?
Yeah, this one.
Yes. Little, from page above. Sorry, a little. Can you scroll down a little bit? That particular paragraph. So to see, yeah. So there is a time. Yes.
Oh,
So there is a time. There is a certain state of consciousness when I have the feeling that I am in that condition with all the weight of the world lying upon me, and besides me are going in blinkers and do not know where I am going. But there is something which is pushing me, and that is truly a very unpleasant condition. And there is another moment when one draws oneself up and is able to see what is there above, and one becomes it. Then one looks at the world as though from the top of a very high mountain, and one sees all that is happening below, and one can choose one's way and follow it. That is a more present condition. This then is truly the truth. You are upon earth for that, surely. All individual beings and all the little concentrations of consciousness were created to do this work. It is the very reason for existence, to be able to become fully conscious of a certain sum of vibrations representing an individual being, and put order therein and find one's way and follow the way. Yeah, somehow this session today, my mind I have been calling for the mother since the beginning of the session, but my mind is not here today. I don't know why, and that's why I wanted to read this again. And when I read this again, I see that um, again, I don't know why the same thing keeps coming back to me about self-obsession, and um, there was active self-obsession at one point. Now I find a lot of passive self-obsession, meaning that outwardly, when someone looks at me, they find that, oh, this guy is not at all self-obsessed. He doesn't care much about himself, or doesn't care about how he walks and looks and eats and all that stuff. But inside, there is this being that only I know of, who is self-obsessive, who is just, you know, and I'm fighting with this being day in and day out. Not really sad about it. It's funny, but he's saying, no, I want this, and I'm saying, but why do you want this? He's saying, because I need respect. Right? What did you do to gain respect? And to look at the broader picture, like it says there, it's like I am trying to look at the broader picture. The self-obsession comes and just hides my eyes, puts his hand on my eyes, and says, "Ki," or just turns me around and says, "Ki, look at me first. Look at me first." And the force is so strong. Ki sometimes I just want to give up. Give up and just just let it take control of things. I cannot do this anymore. Um, anyway, the point I wanted to say is that to see the broader picture, it's very easy for me to say that persistence and patience and all these are needed to overcome overcome my my self-obsessive nature. But uh, I really don't know how to ask this, but how does one, you know, how does one um, win over it? Like, I was just talking about uh, the Valmiki example a couple of hours ago, and with a friend, someone, and I was saying, I will not say Ratnakar was, I may say, because maybe with my limited mind, I'll say Ratnakar was self-obsessive. He was obsessive about his ego, about, winning, about killing all those people, about, to for his own ego. But then Valmiki came out of him, and Valmiki was towards a higher goal. So looking at a broader picture, but this nobody wrote any. I don't know, I haven't read a lot of books, but did anybody even write about how this transformation was? Because right now when I talk, I'm happy that I'm not that active self-obsessive person that I used to be. That element has gone away, but there is one more being inside which is passively fighting, and this being was hiding all this time, and it is so damn strong that I am not able to control it. Like I know that I have to. I'm calling for the mother, but yeah, I yeah, pointless. I think I'm just being. I don't know what point I'm making here, but anyway, just wanted to share that.
There's a phenomena, I forget. I think it's called the Burger syndrome or something. Says like in that, like it said that when people are kidnapped, or when say there was a plane hijack or something, you get so attached to one of the kidnappers that when you are even rescued, you keep feeling bad for them, that you feel they were right and stuff. Like This is how we are attached to things, that even when we know, okay, Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, thank you, Deepa. If that was, I don't know why I remember the word burger. I might be hungry. So, yeah, so imagine this, that the person who has kidnapped me and held me as a captive, I'm wanting to be with that and I want them to succeed. I'm feeling bad for them. And here we're talking about something that has ruled me for years, right? Almost all my life. And I'm saying that I'm seeing a change, but still there's left, still there's left. So I have to give myself this thing that if I have been, you say it wasn't there and now it has come up. It has come up now strongly because it needs to show itself. And earlier on, it was doing it just hiding behind the veils, right? It did not need to surface. So now, if you're the fact that you can even see how self obsession is acting up, how strong the hold is, and not being ruled by the hold fully. Because if you're fully ruled, then you won't even be able to see it becomes you, right? It acts through you, it controls you, it puppets you. And self obsession, like you were saying, again, it's just like you have to hold on to something bigger. You have to aim for something bigger. And there comes a time when that self obsession voice obviously will always be there, but when you stop listening to it and then it stops existing. Excuse me for you. And the Ratnakar example that you were sharing, he was, I don't know, put in a corner that all the things that he believed to be true by Narad, he was told that they are not in fact true. He questioned, he looked for answers, the answers he got he didn't like. And he was then so disgusted with the way he was living. So again, disgust is very important, and we have seen that in our life, right? That we have to be disgusted by our old ways. That's one of the way to transcend or to give up, that we can't do it any longer. And the fact that you can see it, the fact that you can say you're still being ruled is the right step in this direction. And yeah, that's all I think I would want to say on this. Anybody, if there's any other reflection on this or anything, you can kindly unmute and share.
Yeah, I'll just add one more point, and that, unlike a disease, unlike a deadly disease, um, which can maybe suppressed with medicines, when one has a disease, when if I have a disease and I'm opening the drawer to take out the tablets, there is no being in me holding my hand, pulling it back. I'm able to still take the tablets, take water with it, and it will work its way. It's pretty straightforward how these diseases are. But I find that these the nature, the bad nature, or if I have to call it, the self-obsessive nature, this is a disease. I like this is a disease that doesn't even let me take medicine. you know I go to the drawer. I try to I try to like hold on to this book that I want to read, and it on with the other hand it pulls my hand back, and then I'm trying again, pulls my hand back. I'm just waiting for it to get tired one day and say कि यार ये पकड़ना है किताब तो पकड़ ले. अभी मैं मतलब I want him to be tired before I get tired. But I never imagined कि my nature is going to be the biggest you know syndrome I have.
Yeah, and that's true for everybody, Chetan. Everybody. Like I think Again, Acharya Prashant says this very beautifully कि तुम्हें आग से बचाने के लिए मुझे तुमसे लड़ना पड़ता है. He has a lot of videos about it too. And there's also a very good quote that, I saw somebody totally wounded and I went to them and asked that, who have you been fighting? And the answer was myself. So all our fightings, all our true fighting, when I start, when I'm not yet mindful, I feel the world is bad. The world is not letting me do this, the world is not letting me do that, the circumstances are heavy, the people around me are constricting, or this happened to me, that happened to me. So it's all outside. But there comes a stage with grace and luck when one realizes that, array, तो मेरी प्रॉब्लम है. I am sticking to this. I am making that wrong choice. I am understanding it incorrectly. And most of my thing is like this, कि I'm holding on and I'm like, छोड़ो ना, छोड़ो ना, छोड़ो ना, and it's I who's holding. So the fight has to be with me to let go of my hand to whatever I'm clinging to. Lot of greed, lot of selfishness, lot of image confirmations I have. So all our fights, for all of us, the true fight is fighting within ourselves towards greater simplicity, less drama, towards, all these things which are there, but they are not adding any value. But the more one sees, the more one becomes aware. That awareness, although it sounds कि कैसे होगा, this seeing helps. This seeing helps in taking the step back. And before you know it, some things, things are just gone. It's like it was never there. It was never there. And because I see change in me, I know that is true. And whatever is needed, if I'm aspiring, if there is sincerity, if I'm trying, it will be given. That worm example you very strongly resonated with. In that, how it was said that, and some worms, they develop wings and they flew away. Now that's beyond logic, right? No worm would ever say from that dark dungeon that, oh, I will develop wings and I will fly away. That is incomprehensible, right? You don't have to understand or know everything. All we need to do is aspire, be sincere as much as we can, whatever proportion of sincerity we can show. And the wings, when the time is right, would come. I need to have that faith that yes, we should not leave this in a despair note. And I'm not faking optimism, but that is the way. That is the way. That is the only possibility. Yes.
Does this have something to do with a lack of patience, Jagan? Like, for example, I feel like sometimes when you're on this journey, what I feel, because also I'm very new to this, I feel patience is also the key. Sometimes you just have to wait and watch, be consistent, and continue until you see some more changes that have come along in this journey for you. There is this story of the old Gurukul system. There was this very good warrior who was learning from a Brahmin who was his guru. And he was almost like always on top of the class, but every other student was told, okay, your journey is over, your learning is over. But this warrior who was on in the top of the class was never let go. So he keeps asking his guru, am I ready? Am I ready to go? So he says, not yet. Then he spends another 6 months with him. And again he asks, am I ready? So the guru says, not yet. Then he waits for 1 year. And he's doing the same thing. He's not learning anything new. Then he says, am I ready now? So he says, not yet, the guru says. Then it becomes 5 years. But this time he doesn't ask the guru. He decides to continue until the guru tells him that you're ready. And after 5 years, the guru says, okay, now you're ready to go. So he asks his guru, what happened? Why did you not let me go all these years? So he said, the day you stopped questioning, the day you had the patience to wait till I say you're ready to go, that was the key. So the patience factor, I think, is so important in this spiritual journey. I don't know if that is what is lacking, but I see a frustration, and I had that initially in my journey as well. And I feel sometimes it is just give it time.
Thank you, Deepa. I think that is absolutely one of the bigger reasons, I'd say, uh, towards not, towards almost having this tantrum with myself every single day. I've already informed ma'am that, I've kind of dialed down on that element of me, but yes, there is still some of that left, and I think that example that you shared is very beautiful. That yeah, I'll have to work on it. Thank you.
Yeah, and Jagan, the things we were discussing, in the Friday study circle about the first line, right? How it's talked about offering. And we said that the offering has three components, right? Offering has rejection, it has aspiration, it has surrender. So you understood the three components of offering, or would you want to reflect on that more?
I would want to reflect on that a little more whenever time is.
Yeah, so the topic was offering the wrong movements, right? And you're saying, talking about self-obsession, and you're calling it a wrong, lower movement, right? Self-obsession. And you say you keep calling the mother, right? So offering. So if I'm offering this to somebody that, okay, I can't do this, you do it. So first of all, when will I offer? If I have an aspiration to become better, right? Otherwise, if everything I say is going fine, why will I offer something that I don't want it, or I want to do better than this? That's when we offer, right? That I'm seeing this, but I cannot do it. You can probably do it. So please take this. Or I see this movement in me. I'm offering this to you. So firstly, there has to be an aspiration to be somewhere else other than where I am in my being, to do better, to not let the vital, to not let the lower movements be my master. I offer. So there has to be aspiration that I want to become it. That is a very strong, tir in the command types. Second, it was like rejection has to be there when one is offering, right? Because if rejection is not there, that I don't want it, why will I offer? If I'm offering my whole being, that means there's something in me which is not right yet, is not perfected yet, which I would want to be perfected. So there's rejection. And of course, if I'm offering myself to someone or a movement, there has to be, the head has to be bowed down, right? So the surrender aspect also is there. And if those three are there, aspiration is there, rejection is there, surrender is there, which I hear when you're talking. Even if you feel it's superficial, even if you feel it's not good enough, I don't think we are the judge if it's good enough or not. All we can do is do the best we can. Right? If I'm offering, say, 20 times a day, or 5 times a day, or 2 times a day, let me make it 4. Every time I see self-obsession, may I offer it, that it's still here, I don't want it, please take it. So that really changes the game, that really gives it much more life. And like Deepa said, patience I'll have to have. I've been ruled by certain things, certain movements for too long. How can I expect those things to, हर इंसान लड़ के ही अपना राज देता है, right? If somebody has been ruling me, some movements have been ruling me, why will they let go so easily, right? So the fight has to be there. In Buddha's sort of documentaries that are there, and that would be true for all saints and mystics. Before enlightenment, under that Bodhi tree, there was so much that was offered to him. This Riddhi, this Siddhi, forget, get up. Don't go further. There's no need. You take this, take this. By this, you'll close your eyes and you can be anywhere in the world. By this, whatever you'll touch will become gold, for example. And he just kept rejecting, rejecting, rejecting because he had rejected enough. He knew this is not what is the ultimate. So those things come with practice. So even till the last point of his enlightenment, those were offered. Those were offered. It would not stop, this thinking, you gain, you take it. But he didn't want to. He wanted to understand what it's all about. So it's good that these things are there. It's making our resolve stronger. It's making our muscles stronger, right? Right now, we are not ready. We don't have that sthirta, that certitude that come what may. Abhi to we come, okay, I'll come with you. What May, what April, we just keep following whatever comes our way. So these things are there to make us stronger. There's nothing to be sad about or, feel frustrated about. This is the way. This is the way for everybody. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else on this seeking to know? If not, maybe just 10. If we are willing, we can take the next passage. But if we feel it's too late, we can stop. Should we take this passage?
I'll say yes. Just wait.
Yeah. So, yeah, if anybody wants to read it, then.
Yeah, Taru, one question from the last paragraph, if we
Yeah.
can go there.
Top, bottom, where should I
Yeah.
go?
Bottom. So the last line is, it is the very reason for existence to be able to become fully conscious of a certain sum of vibrations representing an individual being and put order therein and finds one way and follow the way. So here another line I'll read. All individual beings and all the little concentrations of consciousness were created to do this work. It is a very reason for existence. So sometimes, like reading all the books and listening to all the saints and mystics, we know that the reason for existence is realizing this consciousness and feeling one with the divine consciousness. So still, it is not 100% clear that what is this the certain what are these vibrations, what is this consciousness which we should be aware of. It is still a little abstract, although in meditations and in discussions we talk about consciousness, but the aim of being one with the divine consciousness, it is not 100% clear till now. I mean, I know that there is restlessness and there is a question and there is something which is missing in life, but is it this thing which is missing that we should realize our consciousness? So this is something which sometimes comes to my mind.
Yeah. Again, what's coming to me is that the limitation of the mind, right? Right now, say for example, one can say that, why did, I'm just taking an example, why did Meera go so crazy about Krishna? Like she could have taken the balanced path. She didn't need to break so many, norms and rules, and this thing could have been done in a subtle way. But probably that subtle way was not possible for her. It wasn't a possibility to do that. But my mind cannot understand that. Right now, when I hear about Meera, I have so many bells and whistles around it. So much has been written and sung about her that I can understand. But if today somebody was wanting to do that, I'll have my judgments. I'll say take the middle road. Have some balance in your life, right? Because my mind is capable of just understanding this. So there are some things which one can just know when one is actually there. So if you don't understand it, if I don't understand it, it's actually right for us not to be able to understand it fully because it's something that one needs to experience. जो भी एक पिक्चर दिखाई जा सकती है थ्रू वर्ड्स थ्रू इमेजेस थ्रू if you remember in that book Anita Murjani, the one that you had read, Dying to Be Me, she speaks about, you remember that book?
Yeah.
So in that she had that near death experience and she says, right, that I don't have words to write to say, but she gave an example that, it was as if she's in a warehouse and how our lives, the way we live, it's like we're in a very dark warehouse, huge, and we all have our torches, right? And we see a little bit and we try to make sense. We see a little bit and we try to make sense. And she said that experience was as if somebody had switched on the light of that warehouse and you could see every nook and corner. So the same thing here. Right now, I just have a torch of my mind that knows limited to understand these things. But if I can't, and this is also honestly, I sometimes feel is another, I don't know what word to use, like chal of Maya or another thing. Instead of doing what I can do, I say, but I cannot understand that. So let me not do this as well. Right? Like it's a very dark road. There are no street lights, but there are headlights which I can see the next, I don't know, 10 meters, 20 meters. But I often can say that because I cannot see it fully. Let me not go out tonight. It's not safe, or I don't know where I'm going. So knowing that where it's ending is beautiful, I know that I can't understand that. But what work I have right in front of me, let me be fully there so that at least I can cross that 10 meter, 20 meter, and for the next 20 meters, I'll see when I reach there, right? That's how we drive in rain, in darkness. So I don't know if that answers what you were saying, but again, nobody gets it fully. And there are so many different versions and ways of seeing this and reasons why we are here, we keep hearing. So whatever resonates with us, we don't know. But here, what it being said is at least know what you are doing, where you are going, why you are going, what will take you there, what will deter you from there.
Yeah. So become fully conscious of a certain sum of vibrations representing an individual being. So these vibrations one can feel during meditation.
नहीं तो जैसे कोई भी कोई चीज हो रही है राइट somebody said something I get a feeling, right? I get a vibration. If I'm thinking something, if I'm thinking bad about something, I get a vibration. If I'm thinking very good about somebody, I get a vibration.
Hmm.
So just becoming conscious of the movements that are
Okay.
happening. If I want certain images, why do I want those? If I want respect, respect से क्या होगा? What am I trying to earn?
Yeah.
तो उस टाइप की छोटी 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 चीजों से जो सूक्ष्म जिसे बोलते हैं, उनसे जब मेरा वो हो जाएगा, शुरू में साक्षात्कार और जस्ट बेसिक मीटिंग एंड देन आई गेट टू नो कि अच्छा मुझे पहले ही पता चल जाएगा कि अभी ये होगा ना, देखना अंदर से ये होगा, and then the mastery comes and then I understand those vibrations. The one thing are bigger things, but I think यहाँ पे तो small movements within me
Hmm.
I can sense. And that's why, how it's said that, be attentive, right? कोई भी चीज है, अच्छी है चाहे बुरी है, worldly terms पे, but there's a movement inside that's happening. I feel an expansion in some, I feel a constriction in some. Use that as a tool rather than morality, rather than duty, rather than responsibilities. So
Yeah.
that's what I at least get from this, welcoming reflections or thoughts. Become fully conscious of a certain sum of vibrations representing an individual, talking about myself, that I have to become fully conscious of these vibrations that make me, that represent me. And then pehle I don't know them. Then I start seeing them. Then I start seeing the patterns. Then I start knowing them fully. So then I can put order there, right? Okay, I don't want this. I want this. Okay, this is leading me to there. So I can choose rather than they ruling me. आई डोंट नो क्यों अच्छा लग रहा है, आई डोंट नो कुछ अजीब सी फीलिंग हो रही है, मुझे पता ही नहीं है। और जब पूरा दिखने लग पड़ेगा, व्हेन आई एम लुकिंग एट इट फ्रॉम द माउंटेन टॉप एंड फाइंड वंस वे एंड देन फॉलो द वे, अगेन वेरी कनेक्टेड दीज टू हाइलाइटेड थिंग्स, उससे यू कैन सी where you are going, what can you choose, where to go, how to follow. No, I know I must have shared this before. It had left quite an impression on me. I think I shared with you that once I was driving a car and my father with, my mother and uh, Soham, my 8-year-old, that time he was 4, was driving the car. So they were in a car in front of me. My father was driving and I was sitting alone behind in the other car. And there was an intersection which I knew that kabhi bhi it can turn orange, but most likely my dad would cross it and I would be there in the red light. And from the other side, because I was a bit behind him, I could see a truck kind of coming really fast. And I was saying that I hope he sees and he doesn't try to cross in the orange light, something like this. So I was like, I saw myself fully focused. Oh, I hope he sees, I hope he sees, because I felt I could see more and he could see less. And suddenly I felt that, oh my God, I am just a few, I don't know, meters behind him, getting this feeling that I can see more. And imagine the one who's, living up, who can see all the intersections of my life that I'll ever cross. That how much knowing there is, in this upward stream. So it was a very good realization that think I see whatever, wherever I am looking at things I can see and making all those decisions, being very clever. And yet there's so much I cannot see because my eyes are limited, my brain is limited, my hearing is limited. So I don't know why I shared that. What was the relation between?
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. Nice. It's a nice paragraph.
So I think if there's anything, any concern, any question, I don't know if we went too fast, we covered a lot. We can go over it before we end, so we won't take up the next passage. Okay? You know, we talk about monotony, we talk about getting bored, we talk about frustration, restlessness, and yet there is so much that we can learn about ourselves, why we are working the way we are working, what is leading me there, why do I think that, you know, and just sorting those things that, you know, you can never have finished your work. There's so much to discover. And I think there's this thing from the mother that when she was young, she said that a lot of people, children wanted to go for drama watching, for theaters and all. But she said, I would just sit at night and wonder, okay, I did this, why did I do this? What movement led me to there? And she felt that that was the best theater she could see, go over her own movement and trying to see the whys and whats and identify the patterns. So yeah, that's also interesting. Yeah. So I'm assuming there's nothing else on what we had read. So reminding us that we all have a copy, the PDF of this Looking from Within. So in case we need to refer to it, or if we have anything else we would want to discuss later on from this, we can do it on the group or next time. So, yeah. So just taking last few moments to just thank Grace for this session, for the ability to sit, to hear, to read, to comprehend, this aspiration to understand. So much I take for granted. And may I never take anything for granted, because then I'll always, connect with the abundance that is my life, and I will have no space for the lack. So praying and aspiring that each one of us on earth can relate with this abundance. The more abundance I feel, the more abundance I will have in my life. Sharing the merit of the teachings, of the learnings with everybody, and remembering that reading does not mean action. I have to put in effort to make this my life, and let this not just be beautiful words that I have heard today. So thank you for joining in, and yeah, thank you.